It's March 2nd, 2026, and we have a lot to get into today, starting with a significant pattern for severe weather over the next week or two. A powerful heat wave is getting ready to engulf much of the states over the next week and a half. But we still have a major stratospheric polar vortex disruption ongoing, which could mean winter returns in the second half of March into early April. I appreciate you watching this video. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And of course, if you like the video, like the video. Let's get into the weather updates. Starting off by taking a look at our live radar, we do have some showers out west. This is low elevation rain, high elevation snow, and we have a more significant storm right now moving through portions of the Ohio Valley. A little bit of snow for Ohio. This is going to continue to move off east and likely dissipate. I don't expect much, if any, snowfall for the mid-Atlantic. And then you can see we have a little bit of a sleet and ice mix through here, and then some more thunder showers through portions of Tennessee, Kentucky, and that's going to continue to move off into the east as well. Taking a look at our 6 to 10 day temperature forecast, obviously plains and out east, we're going to be well above average, but we do expect as we push through this week, more average to potentially even below average temperatures to return out west. Getting into our 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, a little bit warm out here in the southwest, but for the most part, it's pretty average from the west out through the plains, and then some cooler conditions moving into the northern plains, upper Midwest. 3 to 4 week outlook, it looks like it's going to be hot through portions of the central southern plains and out east. It's really tough to tell what we're going to be seeing out here at the 3 to 4 week range. I actually expect this to be much cooler. Again, we have that major SSWE, sudden stratospheric warming event occurring right now that's going to have a lag of cold air down into the states. Above average precipitation is expected through portions of the plains and especially Ohio Valley and Midwest in our 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. And then as we get into the 8 to 14, that begins to move out a little bit further to the east. You can see where a lot of this rainfall wants to be focused. The Ohio Valley, Midwest, down here through the southern plains, maybe even Mississippi Valley. This is going to be a significant story this week, not just because of the threat for flash flooding, but this is what's going to help produce a lot of instability for strong to severe thunderstorms through this region over the next 7 days. Speaking of severe weather, as we get into tomorrow, and this could be upgraded to a slight, we'll have to watch. Portions of central to southeastern Kansas and then western Oklahoma, we do have a marginal risk for severe weather. Right now, this is just hail driven, but we'll talk about this tonight when I live stream. We could see an upgrade with this or potentially the severe weather on Wednesday. Here's our Wednesday categorical outlook. We have a marginal risk for severe weather stretching all the way from Texas up through Ohio, but that slight risk stretches through portions of eastern Texas, through southeastern Oklahoma into western Arkansas. Dallas-Fort Worth is in this slight risk. Just to show you how active this severe weather pattern could be, we're looking at the K index on the Euro right now. When you see these bright reds, that means there's a high chance for thunderstorm activity, anything over 35 on the K index. And you'll start to notice in this region, central to southern plains out through the Ohio Valley, Midwest, it's going to get very, very active. Here we go as we move through Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday, into Saturday. There's a lot of activity happening, as I said, through this region here. We're expecting there's a high chance for a lot of thunderstorms and a lot of thunderstorms that could end up being severe. There's a few things we're looking at to see how severe some of this weather could be as we move through this week. We're looking at the dew points, we're looking at the wind shear, we're looking at the instability overall. Do we have opposite air masses clashing together? One way to look at this is the dew points right here. You can see a lot of moisture coming off the Gulf as we push through this week and a lot of dry air up into the northwest. This is what we call a dry line. It allows a lot of moist air to rapidly move up into the atmosphere while that dry air sinks. This again can spark significant instability. This is pushing through Thursday night into Friday, into Saturday, a pretty significant dry line setting up through portions of the plains and then pushing up through the Ohio Valley as we move forward in time through this weekend. So this is something to watch. We also want to take a look at our wind shear, especially in the lower levels of the troposphere. This is what can help to put some rotation into these supercells and even spark up a few tornadoes. Moving forward in time, we get into Wednesday night into Thursday, you'll start to see these jet streaks appearing right here. This is significant wind shear. Again, this just enhances the potential for severe weather. There you go through the central and southern plains, again, out through the Ohio Valley. This is another thing that we're watching. This pattern over the next 5 to 7 days looks like something we're used to seeing a little bit further into spring. Currently, the Rufus Tuesday night into Wednesday morning is seeing the potential for some supercell activity through portions of central and southeastern Kansas. And then getting into Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening, we start to see this discrete setup over Texas, where we could also see some strong to severe isolated thunderstorms. Here's the Storm Prediction Center or SPC Outlook overview. Severe weather day 2, that's tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And having a slight risk already past 3 days, so we're talking day 4, day 5, day 6 slight risk, that's significant. A lot of times the SPC will wait until at least day 3 unless they see a very active and potentially threatening pattern. So if you're out in these regions, you really need to pay attention as we push through this week, especially as we get into that Wednesday to Saturday time frame. Over the next 7 days, severe weather-wise, we clearly want to pay attention to everywhere out here from the plains, like I said, out east through the Midwest and Ohio Valley. But in particular, I'm watching Friday and I'm watching the plains. And there's a few reasons for this. One, we have a lot of major metro areas in here. Kansas City, Oklahoma, Tulsa, Dallas, Fort Fort Worth, just to name a few. Taking a look at our 500 millibar winds, we also have a significant trough digging in with a ridge out to the east. This is going to help to set up some significant instability throughout this region. We're going to have some of that Pacific moisture being pulled in, also that Gulf moisture being pulled to the north. You've got those drier conditions up here with this trough, and of course you've got those more moist and warmer conditions down here to the southeast of the jet stream. Taking a look at this a little bit closer to the surface at the 850 millibar level, we can see some potentially significant wind shear setting up through portions of Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, even northeastern Texas. And our dew points are going to be just fine for severe weather. We're getting into the 60s out here. We're talking 60 to 65, and then you can see these dry dew points out to the west, 22, 14, 17. This does give us the ability for a dry line setup here. So we could have those classic high instability shear thunderstorms as well as significant dry line thunderstorms setting up as well. And you can see when we look at the surface cape here, getting into Friday, a lot of that instability is pushing up through this region. Like I said, from Texas up through Oklahoma, out into Missouri, Kansas, maybe even southeastern Nebraska. We can also see this on Thursday as well through portions of central Texas and then out there towards western Oklahoma if we go back to our instability. And this is surface-based cape we have out here where we're pushing 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram. To get strong to severe significant thunderstorms, you really only need about 800 to 1,000 joules per kilogram of cape. So once you start pushing into that 1,500, 2,000 plus range, it's definitely something worth noting. And by the way, this is just over this week. I don't want to get too far out going into 250 plus hours, but we see this pattern continuing through the second week of March as well. Look at these dry lines setting up over the plains. These dew points getting up into the 60s, 65s, in some cases 70s over portions of the south, especially in the Mississippi Valley there as we get into the second week of March. One of the things that's driving this severe weather is this significant warm up across the states. Here we go as we move forward. You can see these very warm anomalies, especially for the plains, and then eventually this warm up makes its way out east. We have a lot of moisture coming off the Gulf, a lot of heat, and then some drier and cooler conditions that are developing behind this heat wave. That's what's going to try to spark up a lot of these strongest severe thunderstorms and potentially give us 1 or 2 severe weather outbreak days. You can see this pushing through this weekend into early next week, but it does look like there's another cool down on the way. These are our height anomalies up there in the stratosphere. So obviously right now our stratospheric polar vortex is undergoing major disruption and it's expected to continue. This is our climatological average of where our polar vortex wind should be right now, and you can see where they are. They're down here and expected to continue to fall. This gap right here is significant. This again is why I'm expecting winter to return at least for a brief period of time as we get towards the end of March into early April. This is also what can spark significant severe weather days and potentially severe weather outbreak days as we push through March if we do get this big rush of polar air at the end of March when we have that spring warm moist air pushing in off the Gulf and the Atlantic. This is one of those patterns that could significantly jumpstart spring severe weather season. Lastly, when it comes to snowfall, we're not really expecting much out east and nothing significant, but the Rockies could receive some snowfall here over the next 10 plus days. The Cascades as well and portions of the upper Midwest. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys watching this video. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I was gone for a few days, but I'm back. I will be live streaming tonight to go over all the latest, especially with this severe weather ahead of us. And if you want access to all of these maps and graphics that I look at in my videos and on stream, you can join my Discord. There's a link in the description below. It is completely free, or you can just add Connor's Climate Corner on Discord. I'll accept the invite and I'll invite you to the channel and make you a member of the Climate Crew. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video or in the live stream tonight.